Well, welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Ron. Today we're going to do a little something different from what I've done in the past. Anyway, we're going to make some banana bread. I know I'm known for my banana bread. Yep, maybe take some notes. Going to be a test later on. All that. I'll give you all of the amounts and everything. And this particular one is noted for being quite moist. So anyway, that's what's coming up. And I stopped myself right there and I said, I should make a video of this. Because not only do I garden and I've got the tropical fish, I like to bake a few things too, and well, one of my specialties is the banana bread. And well, guess what? Get some beautiful bananas here. As a matter of fact, that's where we're going to start, because if that don't look good, that could shut down the whole thing, and I've had that happen. So I'm going to come in for the bowl that I like to use, and of course it's not there. That would indicate that I was going to say, of course my wife used it, didn't put it back. I don't know that to be the case for sure. So let's just get one of these out. There's one in particular. It's got measurements on the side of it and stuff, but I don't need that for sure. But anyway, let's get all this something here. I normally do this over the garbage, but we'll just do it here so that we can see for sure. Oh my goodness. Well, that just fell right off. So that tells you something right there. And I see, to me, that looks really nice. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm going to cut that little bit off right there. Only because I'm kind of a purist there. I don't want any little anything in there. And there we go. All right, see, that's nice. That's really right there. When you can pull these off like that and then peel them all off and you don't see any like yellow rotting or anything under there. Yeah, see, I just take a little off there. But that's good. That'll be very flavorful. Very banana-y. Banana-y. That might be a new word. I'm not sure. Could be. I think you get the point. See, this one's almost too gone. But we're going to make her work. You heard me say almost, but not too gone. And we'll have to have all 5 of these. This takes a cup and a half, what I'm going to be doing here. A cup and a half of banana mash. 5 bananas of this size. If they're big ones, then it's probably 4, but I like to make sure, because even then, like, there's about that much of that one that I don't want. The rest of it looks good. So when I go with 5, it seems like I'm going to be throwing away a little bit of it anyway, so we should be all right, though. I can tell by looking we're going to have that. I have a little bit here I got to pass with, but that doesn't make the rest of it bad, just right up until there. All right. That should be enough. Again, we're looking for a cup and a half of that mash. Let me just get a little rinse in the old hands here. And, next thing we're going to do, now that we know we've got viable bananas, we're going to fire up the old oven, 350 degrees. And double check there. Yep, 350 is what we're heading for. And at that point, let me get rid of this. All right, here comes the big machine. It's my wife's for making bread. This is mine for making banana bread. Hey, man, these things weigh like about 1,000 pounds. Well, maybe not quite that, but. All right. We got your handy dandy mixer 10,000 here, 10,000 pounds. She really gets after it though. All right, let's get some stuff out here that we're going to need. We're going to need some cornstarch, what I call it, baking powder, Just baking soda is what I meant to say. That's kind of like cornstarch, I guess. And then, not that one. Hang on, here it is. Cooking salt. I don't use iodine in my salt when I cook it. No iodine salt. So no table salt when you're cooking. Just go out and get some canning salt or something, or kosher salt. There's no iodine in kosher salt. That's what you got to do, is just get that. I'm going to do one other quick thing here just while I'm thinking about it with these bananas. I'm going to kind of punch them down so that they're kind of all grouped together, and then I'm going to cover this a little bit while we're finishing up the rest of this. That's about the way I like them, if you can see that. You know, it's kind of lumpy a little bit, but not any big, terrible big lumps. And again, that's a cup and a half of banana. All right, that's about what that is. I'll bet anything. All right, we'll find out. We'll know soon enough. You ever have one of these, you know? You're figuring out how to put it on. Grab a hold of those two side things. Put it right onto the things. Done. I don't tip it into there until I'm done loading that up. Excuse me. We're going to have the, what I call the wet stuff over there, which is going to include, we got a stick of butter. We need a couple eggs coming into the eggs there next. Let's get up here. Hang on. Eggs are coming out. Oh yeah, there we go. We don't want them on the floor. Okay, so we get the eggs. And well, yeah, we gotta have, well, you know, as long as we're in here. This recipe calls for 1/3 cup of milk. And again, this is how I make it. And I put mine together. And sometimes if we're really bold, we'll use some buttermilk in there too. It's pretty rich as it is, you know, without adding that too, but we're guilty of that. 1/3 cup coming right up here. Yeah, it's on the other side. Okay. We got her. One-third cup. So that'll be punched in there here in just a little bit. Got that going. We got our eggs out of there. All right, well, let's start throwing some more stuff together here. We're gonna have to get some sugar out. We need a cup of sugar. Oh, sure. Have to go into the bag. I didn't get any into the plastic sugar container. It's kind of empty, so I got to go to the sugar bag. Okay, where's my cup? I'll use the copper cup. We bought these and we don't use them. They're like heavy as all get out, and you're not supposed to put them in the dishwasher, but now we said the heck of it and we do, and it doesn't seem to bother me. I don't know. 1 cup of sugar. Oh, that's kind of got a little rounding up on the top. Well, that's pretty good there. Whoops, that's too much, but that's good. That's pretty close right there. I'm going to open up this butter. We want that to start thawing out better, and I think it'll do that if I get this paper off of here. You got to get this butter so it's not in a chunk, any kind of chunk. So we're going to just jump all over here as we do this. Here goes the eggs, just to get them off the table, get them out of the way. They're in. There are 2 eggs in. Here's one item that you need your vanilla. We don't put vanilla in this. I don't know. And some of the recipes I've seen on it too, they don't want you to put salt, but I put salt. I don't think I'd do it without it, to be honest with you. I think it kind of helps to hold the moisture a little bit. All right, we need a knife here to cut this butter up a little bit. Is this thing in the way here? I don't need to have that flour right there. All right. It's not terribly live either, you know, it's just kind of one of the decorative ones. Okay, well this is kind of melting down, so that's good to see. I'm just going to lay it up on the bowl here and let it thaw out some more. One of the tricks I like for this is I never heat up my butter. I never cook ever with butter that's been melted in a microwave or something like that. Never. Was I pretty adamant about that? I make a mean chocolate chip cookie, and I would never put hot butter in that batter. I'm trying to keep the chips cold as long as I can, you know, right up until I hope they're still frozen by the time I'm sticking them in the oven, you know. So I want cold batter as much as possible, but I also want it to be melted enough so that when I get going with whipping it up here, I don't see it in there, it's incorporating. It's kind of really technical, a real fine line there, you know. Not, but you'll see what I mean. Oh, come on now. There we go. Now she'll sit on top there for just a little bit, and this time of year, it's only about 90 outside today. Of course, we're running about 78 in the AC in here. All right, we got that on there. Guess I could just throw that in the garbage and be done with that. Save that in case I need it. I don't think I do. Let's see what else we need. About this time, while we're letting that melt just a little bit, we got to prep up a couple of tins here. Here you are. We'll get back to our thing here in just a moment. I was going to cover this a little bit, but it looks pretty strong. I don't think we're going to have to worry about it. Anyway, we get this easy foil 2-loaf pan. I tell you, for the first time ever, they've made something that I don't have to destroy the product to get it open. And that piece just falls out, and there's no stickum things on there that stick on your finger for 5 weeks till you use alcohol to get it off. No stickum, nothing on there. Perfect. Well, you can see there's a little irritation there. We used to get a kind that would just, it was a mess. These are nice. All right, so the next thing we need there, I'm not a big Pam fan necessarily, but it's not like we're cooking with it. I just need to make this not sticky. That just takes a little shot like that, not much. There we are. That's all set. All right. So our pans are ready to go. We got that accomplished while we were waiting on our thing here. I got the 1 cup measuring out. I'm going to need a half for the other part of the. I need half. What do we got here? There's a half for the banana stuff. Anyway, now I got to have another bowl out here for the dry ingredients. Let's go ahead and grab that. There we go. And for the dry ingredients, we're going to start out with a fair amount of flour. And we're going to use bread flour, and thank goodness there's enough in here. I don't have to go and get some. Well, I mean, I have another bag of it here, but we use bread flour here for most all of the breads type stuff we make. Tried it both ways. Bread flour seems to be. Now, I'm not going to fudge too much on this. No need to here, so we're going to get pretty close to our measurement here, but it's 2.5 cups. 2.5 cups of flour. Bread flour is what we like. Got her in there. Yeah, there we go. That's 2 cups. Go for the half. Got the half. Good. We're in. Now, we are going to add the other dry stuff. I only need our little teaspoon measuring. For all the dry, the rest of it, we're using a teaspoon. 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of soda. I like to keep it covered up in a container so it doesn't pick up any aromas from anywhere, which it certainly can do. Okay, there's that one. Let me put that in a second. And what are these, leaveners or something, I think they call them? Oh, yep. Kind of make stuff stand up a little bit. All right, so here we have the baking powder. Makes them stand right up. And finally, some salt. Like I say, I've seen some that say no salt, but what? Our oven's ready. I heard it. Here's the salt. We're good. That is our dry ingredients. And let's mix that around a little bit. So that's prepped up and ready to go. Another thing before we really get cooking here is I got to get the scale. We have two scales because my wife likes to use one and I like the other. I don't know. But I want to get these two as even as I can because the cooking time is pretty precise on that, and if you don't have them fairly even, then it's not that difficult to do, so don't worry about it. If you don't need to do that, but it's just kind of a handy thing if you have it. And we'll show you because we're going to do it. Anyway, now I got to get that butter down into there, and let's start working this stuff. Okay, I think that's going to be fine. This is one of those where this is going to whip for a while, so probably that while we'll let it do that and come back to it. Okay, we're up. Yeah. Oh, here we go. I wasn't getting a good connection there for some reason. I'll have to call me the electrician. What they would like. I hadn't used her for a while, brother. Come on now. So the goal here, this first whipping, is to get the sugar, butter, and eggs whipped. When I say whipped, I mean totally incorporated. A couple more utensils we're going to need. Spatula number 1 and spatula number 2. They will be necessary here in a little bit. This is getting close. We're headed down this way. But that's kind of what the 1/3 cup thing you see in parentheses, that's milk. So you can just kind of see a couple of things that we do a little different. But I always like to check in, you know, make sure I got everything in there, and sure enough, we got it all. It's not that hard of a recipe. I think it's really about patience, making sure you get this whipped up right here really good. Boy, that's a nice creamy mess in there, I'll tell you. Whew, that is well incorporated. Now I've just added in that 1/3 cup of milk. And we got to be kind of careful to start that out a little slower. She'll splash out on you. That doesn't take too much to get that incorporated. Right there, she wants to splash out a little bit. That's pretty incorporated there, so. This newest mixer here that, who makes this again then? I always lose track of these things, you know. Who makes this? Oh, KitchenAid, yeah. Well, they've got a real slow setting now, so you can run that and the flour won't kick out all over the place while you're putting it in there. It's kind of nice. That may be a few years old now, but a while back they didn't have that. You had to be kind of careful how you entered the flour, or it would be all over. All right, let's get her cooking. I'm just going to take a moment here to clean the paddle, get the stuff off of the sides here a little bit, kind of like that there. I think you can kind of get a little look here and see it looks pretty confectiony. You know what I'm saying? Now, is that another new word? Confectiony? That could be. I'm not sure. We're not against coining a few new words. All right, let's see. Well, I need that other, here it is. We want to kind of get all this stuff off at the edges, and I'm going to make sure that on the very bottom of the bowl here, that we haven't left anything behind, you know? That paddle goes down there pretty good, but there's times when I'm doing this and I go, well, I bet it didn't get that down there. So I like to just go in there with a paddle anyway, mix it up once that way, make sure I got it all working. It's all working. So now we're ready for the bananas. We're about ready to throw it in the oven. It is so close. All right, let's see how close we came with these bananas. Here's our cup. So there's a good, hefty, nice cup. And we're going to want all of that. There we go. Did I lose any? No. And how close were we? Well, we're right on the nose because here's some more here. 5 little bananas, 4 big bananas. There you go. I mean, I have more than a quarter, but well, that's, you know, sure. It's not that bad here. Well, as a matter of fact, I just have some remnants in here, not a lot, just a little bit, you know. No sense letting that go to waste. There we are. That's it there for that now. Get a quick hand rinse here. Okay. Oh boy, we're close. We are so close. And back on the old mixer we go. Now this time though, I'm not going to do it for very long. I'm going to do it very slow setting. Because I don't want to really beat up those bananas any more than that. But I got to incorporate it, so. And this does a real nice job of that incorporation. So, I don't know. I'll show you what it looks like. So it's kind of just a gentle roll around. Very good. I'm going to take the paddle off because you know there's like a half a loaf of bread on the paddle. Well, maybe not that much. Hey, where's my other one? There it is. So, you know, I mean, I hate to leave any of that behind, obviously, so we got to get that in here. I think sometimes part of what takes time is getting all of it in there. You hate to miss any of it. Okay. All right, we got a pretty good job on that. Now, get this stuff all scooted up here. Oh, she's looking good. I'm going to get this other one in here again now, too, and make sure I got a good mix going in there. This one here is a little stiffer handle. Stiffer, works better. And see, I can feel that there was some of that on the bottom that wasn't getting mixed in. So good to check for that. Right on the very bottom. Just get down there and slap it around a little bit. Most of the mixing's been done for you, but you still got to kind of watch that a little bit there. All right. We're ready to pour. I'll put my name in the papers having poured. All right, so this is good. Back in the day, they used to do the society news in small towns. They had a newspaper, you know. The lady, sometimes she'd call, you know, like every house in the city at one point or another, and ask if you had any news, you know, for the city would love to know about, or and you might have reported that you went to visit someplace here or there, and such poured coffee, and a good time was had by all, you know. And that would be on the society page. It was almost kind of like, I don't know, I guess that was their social media back in the day. Of course, it seemed like it was just a place to boast about where you'd been. But, oh, you know, everybody always had something to report. Somebody was coming or going or visiting, and yeah, blah, blah. All right, well, let's see how close we've come here. I've mixed these two to where I think they're pretty close, but I kind of left enough behind too where we can make some adjustments here. So let's see. Am I a mess? Wow. Jeez. That is the one thing about cooking that I do not enjoy, is a mess on my hands. Yeah. You know, it's just a thing. All right, let's see what we got. And we're going to be looking at grams here. 628. Oh, I think we got way too many in this one. 746. Let's see if we can't grab. I don't know if there's going to be that much. I may have to steal from that other one. It's interesting though, just how heavy this stuff is. 654. I'm gonna have to steal from this. I get a little particular about this. Yeah, there's no way we're gonna have enough to. So we just have to get in here and take a chunk and see. We're gonna get her up there a ways. One more grab like that probably, and we may be close. Okay, there's 700, 701. Let's see what we got in this other one now. 691, but I get this off with a spoon here, and I bet that'll be pretty close to 700. 701 right there. Both of those are exactly 701. And I have very little left in here. None, really. Excellent. All right. So there you have it. We have two different tins of banana bread ready to go into the oven. All right, so watching that process, of course, is a lot like watching, you know, paint dry, so we'll avoid that. But I would tell you that the one thing that I have that made my cooking better in the banana bread area there is to figure out in my oven where the sweet spot was for it. And for me, it turned out to be way in the back, and I have my shelf as my rack is probably midway, I suppose, something like that. But I do need to push them way to the back. Then I get the most even cook. And we're going to be cooking them for 47 minutes in mine. People have different things and different outcomes with their, with their ovens. But I'm going to show you how we tell if it's done or not. And You kind of have to work yours a little bit, but for me, it's 47 minutes is about the right number for that. Get cleaned up here just a little tiny bit, and then we'll start the bake. Here's the other part about baking. I wish I had somebody standing right behind me, taking taking everything away, dealing with it, put it in the sink. Well, I don't mind baking a little. It's just all this other stuff. Oh, what are you doing? All right, so that's all. Put this away, get that in the oven, and then we'll get back to you as soon as she's ready. I'll take a look at her, of course. Well, we are back. I did check here a moment ago. I had 47 minutes, but it looked like they needed to go a little bit more. So I take some toothpicks, and I'll be over there in a second. We'll see. Hang on now. Oh yeah, there's one there. I think we're going to be there, so I'm going to throw them out. But we'll do our little test and see what we're looking at here. Got a couple of toothpicks. Yep, clean. Pulled out clean. Pulled out clean. Good. Done. I've had them out about a minute and a half, 2 minutes ago, and there was still just a little on the end. And now they're coming out clean, so that's good. Might have hit them right on the nose. Anyway, that's how you do it. If when you pull that toothpick out, it has a little bit of stuff coming out with it, then you have to get in there back in for another minute or two. Not too much, or you might overdo it. If you want them to be moist, why, you don't want to overcook them. Ooh, that's hot. Ouch! Can you see that already? Them babies are warm. Yowza. All right, so now we wait. You gotta let it cool off. And they just sit out like this. And then the next step is going to be to put them into the tin, and then leave the top off for a little bit of time too, so that they can really cool all the way down and dry up a little bit. Or not dry up, but harden up. But anyway, we'll go check back. Because the goal tonight is probably to slice into one of these so you can get a look-see. But there you are. We have banana bread. And by the way, that smell-o-vision I was talking about, somebody's got to work on that, Can you smell that banana bread? Oh, she's good. Yeah, anyway. They should be working on that smell-o-vision. You could have an apparatus on this side that detects this, and then on your side it would let loose that smell. Anyway, I'm just saying. I think I got that figured out. All right, we'll be back. Well, all right, I think we're pretty close to where we need to be here in terms of cooling them down. And now we'll... Let's see that again. You couldn't. That's going to go down like a blooper or something. I don't know. Anyway, just throw these babies in. And we're basically done with those little guys. Whew. I said we'd cut into one, and I think we will. Because I'll show you what I'm looking for when I deem it as being perfect. Or, or plenty good. Eeny meeny. We'll do with this one. All right, so we're just going to take a little sliver off the end here. We should see a consistent color from top to bottom and bottom to top. And if we don't, that would mean we've cooked it a little too much because it would be darker on the bottom. just maybe marginally. See that? That might have been like a 30 seconds too much, maybe a little bit there. But I can still tell you, that's still a real good one. It'll be delicious. And it's very moist. So, all right. Now, you know what? Yeah, I usually like to make sure the tops are, kind of feel like they're dried-ish, you know? And these do. Kind of click on them. So I think we're good. Now, when it cools down even more, a little before going to bed, put them in the refrigerator at that point. One thing about banana bread, it does not keep out. You know, if you left one of these out for 2 days, she'd be a nice biology experiment in there for you. Different shades of green and such. And yeah, they don't do well sitting out, so you got to refrigerate. Not only that, you freeze them if you want and bring them out whenever. So anyway, banana bread. A couple of nice loaves. 5 bananas. You should be all right with that banana recipe or got that in there. I think everything was pretty clear. That's it. That's banana bread. It's kind of fun to make. It doesn't take too long and it tastes really good. It's nice to snack on a little. That kind of thing. So anyway, that's it for this one. We'll see you again probably later in the week. I thought though today that I'm making banana bread. Why don't we have a little video of banana bread? It's kind of fun. And we did. All right, we'll see you later. Have a good day. Good day tomorrow especially. See if you can inspire somebody. Or, you know, I like to wake up and think, who am I going to help today? Changes my whole attitude. Have a good night.